I remember being pissed at like age 10. I was furious that my parents knew all this and had me anyway. When my dad left the house, I started being molested by a next door neighbor.
Oh,
So
wow.
again, from a really young age, I'm 5 or 6 years old. It happened a few times, and I decided the world is not safe. I cannot trust men. I excelled in school, so nobody wanted to believe something was wrong with Andy, because how can something be wrong? He gets good grades. And I'm sobbing, I'm curled up in the fetal position, and I give up. I'm not good at living. I'm not good at dying, obviously. There's got to be a better way. And it was the first time that I felt some sort of presence, voice, energy that wasn't my normal, you suck, just die, Andy. It was this whisper of, if you share your story, the pain will be worth it.
Welcome to the High Performance Human Podcast, where high achievers learn to master themselves, not just their success. I'm Creighton Bertrand, a certified high performance coach, here to share practical tools to rewire your habits and mindset. If you're ready to move beyond good enough and step into real transformation, you're in the right place. Let's get to work. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked your tail off to be successful, to be dependable, to be strong, and still felt completely disconnected inside? Like you built the life that you thought that you should have, but somewhere along the way, you lost touch with the man that you actually are. Well, today's guest knows this story all too well. Andy Grant is the host of the Real Men Feel podcast, a transformational coach, author, and someone who's lived through what I would say is probably the darkest parts of what it means to be a man in today's world. And he found freedom on the other side. He's made it his mission to challenge the old definition of what we call strength and to prove that being a real man isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about having the courage to feel what is real. And that's what we're going to dive in today. How vulnerability, honesty, and emotional truth aren't weaknesses that we have to fix, but actually superpowers that can change your entire life. So if you've ever felt like you're crushing it on paper, but quietly falling apart inside, or if you're tired of carrying the pressure to be strong instead of being real, then this one is just for you. Andy, thank you for coming again. Last week we had some technical difficulties that things didn't work out, but I guess today was supposed to be the day. You said today is Manly Man Day, correct?
It is actually International Men's Day.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to take it as Manly Man Day.
What will you do for Manly Man Day?
I think I have to go punch something, break something, and maybe pee on something. I think that would probably check all the boxes of being a manly man. Would you disagree?
Well, to be a manly man, perhaps, but I actually did a video today inviting men to just take 30 seconds and appreciate their accomplishments, everything they've gone through this year or their entire life. But you can pee on stuff too. That's fine.
I mean, I'm grateful that I can stand up and pee. So I guess there's something to that. I love that. I love maybe your approach sounds a little more therapeutic and healthy than going out and beating stuff up. So let's jump in and go straight into, I know that obviously you going out and promoting, telling people how to celebrate International Men's Day, what I would describe as the correct way. Mine was obviously the wrong way. Please don't do what I said. I don't want people messaging me, great, and I went out and punched something, I peed on something, and now I'm in big trouble. So please, please do not do
just
that.
follow the advice.
But everything that you're out and you're doing and you're spending so much of your time coaching, helping men open up emotionally, as you were kind of talking about, what made you start to open up yourself emotionally? Let me ask you this. Have you always been someone that was emotionally open, or did you ever used to be a real manly man?
That's a good question. I've always been emotional, and there were
Okay.
times that I judged that and tried to shut it down, and there are
Okay.
times I learned to harness it.
What would you say is emotional? Because I think everyone has their own definition of, someone thinks emotional and usually is like, oh, well, they cry all the time or they feel a lot of things. So I'm curious, what would be your definition of recognizing, oh, I am emotional?
So from a very young age, from like elementary school, maybe even like kindergarten, I cried easy. I was
Okay.
upset easy. I was a sensitive kid. So yeah, I was weepy, I was
Mhm.
teary, and I thought, you get picked on for that. And so I thought that like I was wrong. I'm being myself wrong since I'm getting picked on and I'm crying easily. But I was a product of a divorced family. My dad was an alcoholic. I have no memories of my family together. They split at age when I was 5. And
Oh
because I
wow,
have no
yeah.
memory of it, I thought my parents were like married for like a month or two. I just
Okay.
had no recollection of it.
Yeah.
But when my dad left the house, I started being molested by a next door neighbor.
Oh
So
wow.
again, from a
Ab-
really young age, I'm 5 or 6 years old. It happened a few times, and I decided the world is not safe. I cannot
wow.
trust men, but also
Oh,
enough people had told me I'm the man of the house now. So I didn't want to upset my mom. I didn't want to bring bad news home, so I kept it to myself.
that's making me very emotional just to think of that, the burden in the story that you had at such a young age. And that's got to be so hard because it's not like you asked for it or deserved it or any of these things. It's just one of those terrible circumstances that happened to you. And I hope you're okay with me asking this. Do you think that something like that that happened to you at such a young age was, I think we hear this from Tony Robbins, is the one that talks about things are either happening for you or to you. Looking back at that, can you say, oh, that happened for me? Or at such a young age, I would have a hard time saying that that did happen to you.
Yeah. I'd love to ask Tony if he believes that phrase, because I believe in that phrase and that sentiment.
Yeah.
But when you are a child and at the
Yeah.
mercy of others, you just don't have as much control. But
Yeah.
can I see the gifts in those things? Yes. Mostly because I love me today. So
Okay.
I can't remove something from the past and mess up the recipe that got me to today.
How long or when did you start to quote unquote believe that Kool-Aid of, hey, no, this happened for me and I'm grateful? As far as a time frame, is that recent? 5 years, 10 years?
This century, the book that opened me up the most was The Secret. So I think
Okay.
that came out early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
And its big thing was that you control your thoughts and emotions.
Right.
I was told bad chemical imbalance controls my emotions.
Uh,
So I was taught to be hopeless and helpless.
right.
My dad often said that high school were the best years of his life. So again, in grade school, I'm like, well, why would I bother to live beyond my best years?
You said your parents were divorced?
I'd see my dad for like 4 hours every other weekend, most of
Wow.
the
And
time. Sometimes he didn't
that's
show up, sometimes he was gone.
that's just so amazing, the fact that here you were with your dad only spending 4 hours every couple weeks, and yet he still had so much clout on you of, he told you, hey, this is the way it is, and you're like, okay, cool, I believe this. Because you could look at it the other way. Well, you're never around, whatever, what authority do you have? Like, I don't really care. I don't put any stock into what you say.
Yeah. So it gets even more complicated. So my parents split up. They each accused each other of cheating. And my mom started dating people, and I would see and hear men in the house.
Uh-huh.
And I'd ask my mom, oh, no, that was the TV. That was nothing. My
Oh,
dad would
wow.
tell me, oh, that guy, I know that guy. That's who's at your house. He's real. That's the guy. That's why we broke up. So there was a
Oh,
fight always making. My parents didn't talk to each other. So I sided with my dad at a young age. And I think it is because
because
I'm a man. I got to listen to my adult male elder to learn how to be a man.
was it because you didn't respect your mom at the time? So you thought that maybe if you believed her, that could make you end up being like her? Or
No, I didn't. My mom was telling me that what I saw and heard wasn't real. So I didn't know
okay,
what to make out of that. So my,
okay.
my dad's distorted view made sense to me at least.
Uh,
But my dad was very victimy. My dad was an
uh,
alcoholic. He was bipolar. He
uh,
told me all these things were in my ancestry and lineage. I remember being pissed at like age 10. I was furious that my parents knew all this and had me anyway.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that and
Yeah.
feel that at such a young age,
Yeah.
at
But
10.
I'm not.
But
I don't recommend my path to anyone, but where it got me is good.
yeah. So that at 10, you were doubting whether or not you should even be
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
and
Age 10, I've
frustrated
already
at.
decided I'm not living past 18. I've decided that. I know I'm never going to have children. Again, the world is not a safe place to be. I'm broken. I'm helpless. My parents loved me. They brought me to child psychiatrists and stuff. I excelled in school, so nobody wanted to believe something was wrong with Andy, because how can something be wrong? He gets good grades. He's a
Right.
good
The
boy at home.
facade is, do you feel like you're really good at wearing masks?
Oh, for sure.
Did anyone know that there was this mental torment going on inside, or you just, everything was just for you?
Yeah, it was all just for me. Again,
Oh,
so
wow.
sometimes I would cry. I remember first day of third grade on the school bus to school, I just started crying and I didn't know why. And
Not
later as an
provoked.
adult, people told me like that I was an empath. The other kids' sadness and fear could come out through me. I was so open. I was
Hmm.
so beaten up, didn't know what was a mask, no, so, but again, I didn't share that with anybody.
Yeah.
People thought, oh, there's Andy. He's balling on the bus again. But I was like, there's no reason for me to be doing this. So I thought I was literally crazy. So I did not share that with anybody.
Did you think it was just that you're an empathetic towards everyone else, or do you think that you were feeling some of your own suppressed feelings and emotion, and this heightened area allowed it to kind of come out?
Yeah, I think all of that is true.
Okay.
But again, at that time, I just thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
I thought I
Yeah.
was broken. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I would say that I wasn't a very crying. I don't even want to use the word sensitive because I'm crazy sensitive. So, but I would say I didn't have an understanding of my own sensitivity. But I would say that I was crazy emotional. And I don't know if you've run into this with men as well, but so many men that I've talked to are like, oh, I don't have emotions or whatever. I'm like, awesome. Do you ever get angry? They're like, all the time. I'm like, just to let you know, anger is an emotion. So do you think that some people don't recognize that they are emotional, even though they are, because they haven't defined it clearly? They've defined it, no offense towards your side, of like, oh, well, they cry and they're empathetic. Like, I think society's done it a disservice to say, oh, those are the ones emotional. But anyone that has feelings, big feelings, congratulations, you're emotional.
Yeah. All humans are emotional. Most men have a very limited spectrum of what they're allowed. And it's anger, perhaps shame, perhaps a touch of grief when you lose your parents. That's when it's allowed. You might be allowed to cry at the saddest sports movie. You can cry when your team wins. You can cry when your team loses. But if it's you on your own doing something, no, tears not allowed.
Yeah.
And that does a tremendous disservice.
There's so much to go into here, but when did you start to recognize that, okay, I do have this, and maybe it's literally you going back to The Secret of like, okay, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, and I do have some, whether we want to call it agency or just hope, that now I can do something with this.
Yeah. So, age 20, after multiple failed suicide attempts, I've now just tried to die using a means that already did not work. So, I'm repeating things that don't work. And I'm sobbing, I'm curled up in the fetal position, and I give up. I'm not good at living. I'm not good at dying, obviously. There's got to be a better way. And it was the first time that I felt some sort of presence, voice, energy that wasn't my normal, you suck, just die, Andy. It was this whisper of, if you share your story, the pain will be worth it.
Wow.
And that was
And
the
you
first
believe that?
time. Yeah, it was because I experienced it. And it was
Yeah,
the
but
first time I had the glimmer of the possibility that just maybe there's hope, that I
huh.
can navigate this thing, that somehow my life has meaning and that all the shit I've gone through is service to something.
At that moment of 20, right before you heard these, what was the story that you believed to be true? I mean, I know you did say that, you weren't good at living, you weren't good at dying.
It was complete surrender. I'd given up. I was begging God. I was not raised with any sort of religion. I thought I was an atheist, but I was pleading, begging. I had given up. All the solutions I thought were my solutions were not working.
So then going back to the spirit coming in and you having this surreal, finally having some sort of hope, what was it that gave you, or was it just to kind of have this experience of feeling the spirit or hearing a spirit, or did it help you by saying, hey, your emotions are literally just chemicals inside your head, and yes, you can control how those are deployed and what chemicals are being released?
I believe the chemicals are made by me.
Mm-hmm.
My emotions make my chemistry. I was taught the reverse,
Yeah.
right, by
So,
doctors.
but it wasn't at 20 when you had this experience that you started to reflect on that.
At 20, I had been into multiple mental hospitals already at this point, and I had just given people enough information to make them happy and think they figured something out. I was guarded. I did not believe I was worthy of help.
Wow.
Right? So now, with this presence telling me share my story, I took that to mean open up. So I went into another mental hospital and I didn't hide. I said everything I felt, everything I thought. That was the first time that I remembered the molestation. And I thought, now I know the core. I'm fine now.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no. Then all the healing for 10 years, more than 10 years, it felt like my predominant energy was trying to destroy myself. Then I was finally willing, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there's a point. Maybe I can enjoy life, right? Somehow the pain I felt had a point if I shared it. And then as the years went by, I shared it in books and in speaking and podcasts, and the share went more than just a share to a doctor who asked me how I was. Right?
Yeah. Wow. What do you think is so, I don't know if I want to use the word healing, but or meaningful for you to be out sharing? Like, why do you feel like that helped and changed things?
That's another great question that I've thought of, and I don't know that I've gotten the right answer, but I feel tremendous relief when I unburden myself, when I share, when I'm authentic, when I tell something.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because most of the time someone goes, wow, me too.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody recognizes it. Like I'm giving others permission to feel their own shit too.
To experience the life that they actually have.
Yeah. But a lot of people, we touch the darkness, we touch the depression, and we retreat.
Yeah.
If you go through it,
Yeah.
through our darkest emotions, on the other side, there is
Right.
peace, there is light, there are the better feeling emotions.
I feel like what I've experienced in my life from the research I've done is we have to metabolize everything in our life. And emotions are something, and experience create the emotions, which create a memory if it's really big. But we need to metabolize, work, and break it down, because what most of us do is what you're talking about. We have so much shame, guilt, fear. So we keep that in a closet, hoping, praying to God, please, no one touch that no square, because I don't know how to deal with the emotions that come up with that. So I have a feeling that by you talking about it, you're bringing all that stuff out of the closet and being like, you do not get to control me anymore. I'm in control of you. I'm bringing you out. I'm not going to feel the shame. I'm not going to let you keep me small and keep me feeling shame. I'm going to bring it out and be like, this is it. This happened. This is what I experienced. And by doing that, you start to shrink it and make it small, because you're literally shining a light on it.
Right. If I ever had a story that I couldn't tell, that I couldn't shine the light on, then that story has power over me.
100%. I'm a big biblical person, but like I think that's literally the original sin of like us eating the apple. God asks like, "Hey, what did you do? Where are you at?" And they hide and they feel so much shame instead of repenting, which is really what God wanted, is just repent, say what it is you did, because He knew anyway. But that's one of our original sins. I really do believe of us feeling shame and resentment and all this instead of repenting, because then, like you're talking about, then it just eats you alive.
And because back emotions, one of the definitions or a way to phrase it that I always liked is an emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah.
So when we try to stop an emotion, that's when the resistance, the disease can show up. Like we're trying to stop life inside of us.
And why do you think that so many men, when we hear this word emotion, I feel like I've seen a huge, and maybe it's just, by virtue of your circle, by you going out, sharing and all that. I feel like more men are open to it now. But why do you feel like emotion is such a weakness?
Because it's what we've been taught. It's in society. It's in pop culture. Think of children. Every child is sobbing, gracefully laughing. Like they're not judging it. We are taught to judge. Men especially are taught to judge our emotions, shut them down. And I agree with you. I see more and more guys open and looking and investigating this. But I also meet teenagers, guys in their early 20s that say, nope, I was taught men don't have emotions. I still am surrounded by people that say, there's nothing to feel. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You can be hungry, horny, angry. The end.
We're done. That's a wrap. I would say I never thought about what are the emotions that are acceptable.
But all the other felt, because every
Yeah, yeah,
man who is not open with his full range of emotions is doing so because of shame, which
yeah.
is an emotion. We're all feeling everything to some degree or another. Many emotions are being stuffed. I know as before we are men or women, we are human beings. All human beings have a full range of emotion. They are
Mm,
felt and experienced in different ways
mhm,
between the genders and between individuals. But to
yeah,
say that, nope, these three emotions, that's all I've got. Those other
right.
15, those are over there for the women because they're
Yeah.
weak. That's a tremendous disservice.
And why do you think, and again, this is all just speculation, you're not being judged here, but why do you think that that was what society wanted to ingrain, manipulate, support as far as like, I think in the past, I have my own ideas on why that was the case versus now we're kind of in a new era of like, yeah, let's experience your emotion. Let's feel everything. Whereas before it was like you said, horny, what was the other one? Angry and hungry.
Yeah.
Those are the three. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you have those three, those are the ones that we want to accept as a society. Why do you believe that that was what was ingrained?
Men for generations have been bred to be workers, to provide, to not be entitled to joy, to enjoy their
Mm-hmm.
life, to smile, to laugh, to go to the work, go to the coal mines, build that house, dig that ditch.
Right.
There's nothing about enjoyment in this.
Right.
Do your work, shut up, get
Yeah.
paid, move on, right?
Do
This,
you think
what I
that they
call
had
distorted stoicism.
Do you think that they had the opportunity to experience joy back then, or just because of the life circumstances that, I mean, because food wasn't readily available, all the benefits we have, obviously, this day and age, that do you think that that's why that was the case? Or do you think that there was an opportunity for them to actually feel more joy in a gambit of their emotions?
The opportunity is always there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, most men, you enjoy your time at the bar. You get drunk.
Mm.
And then when you're drunk, maybe you might feel something. Do you ever have a friend that when he's drunk would tell you, I love you guys and that sort of
Right.
thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
men need a
Yeah. No.
substance often to let our
Right.
defenses down to then
Yes.
share our emotions.
That's so good. We need an excuse to
Mm,
share.
right. Yeah. And then it is excuse. Remember, you were crying, you were weeping, you were
Yeah.
telling me, oh, I
Oh,
was
dude, I
drunk.
was
I was
just drunk.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, it was it.
Yeah.
I am not. So, on the flip side, because a lot of the people that I talk to are the quote unquote identity of these high performers,
Mhm.
what do you see as a benefit of being able to experience and acknowledge, is what I'll say, acknowledge all your emotions? What would be the benefit as someone that's claiming or wanting to become a high performer?
Every high performer I have met, the ones that are truly high performing, it's also in relationships with themselves, their integrity, their values, emotions. So
Ooh.
if you only judge success as things outside of you, those are the high performers I meet that feel meaningless, empty, and hollow. So a man who is fully allowing himself to feel the great range of emotions, it doesn't make you less of a high achiever. It can make you a greater high achiever. Have you ever been in a situation working at a company where the CEO reveals something about him, like it might be a health scare or something like that, and people like come to his aid, people surround, people, the company gets brought together. But other times there are plenty of situations where man isn't going to share any of that. Being open, being vulnerable in leadership and business can rally the troops, can get more people on your side. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness.
Amen. So true. In my opinion, and I'm sure you would agree, is like it takes courage to be vulnerable. Like it's so much easier to not admit your insecurities, your fears, your vulnerabilities. Like that, I mean, my wife and I almost got a divorce because I was too much of a coward to actually tell her what it is. I was praying and waiting to ice her out so that she would leave. And then that would be perfect for me because then I can blame her. So it's just so sad to see how people are suppressing and that they think that that's being masculine. But I would
Yeah.
challenge that that's being an absolute coward.
I often say the bravest thing you can do is ask for help.
Mm.
Men are worthy of help, and there's a bond between men. There is a
Oh, yeah.
natural brotherhood, but it
Yeah.
can't exist if we're all pretending the biggest mask I find we all wear is that I'm fine.
That's
Yeah.
my trigger. Any coaching call that I ever have, I'm like, how you doing? They're like, I'm fine. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
The best acronym for fine I've ever heard. I think I got this from Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Fine means fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. So if
Whoa.
that's what you mean, then you might be honest.
Then yeah,